Hi, this is Abhishek. Today I'm going to do a little bit unconventional video. I have been reading Meditations for Mortals by Oliver Burkeman, and the way he set up the book is basically a chapter a day for over 4 weeks. So I'm using those chapters as a prompt in order to talk about the book and see my own feelings about the book, what I think, and I'm doing some daily reflections on them. Now, I have some videos of me actually doing the reflections in a separate video, and that's going to kind of give you a bit of a distraction-free space, as I usually do on my channel. So you're welcome to go seek out those videos. I'll leave a link in the description for them. But this one, what I'm going to do is, now that I'm just finished reading week 2, I'm going to walk through my journaling prompts, my journaling notes, to be honest, and kind of talk about the things that came out to me. Now, by all means, you should read the book for yourself. And I'm very curious to know, if you're reading this book, what do you think of these chapters, right? So let's start here with week 2, which is day 8 is the first day. This is a chapter about decisions, and here Burkeman's talking about telling us to make a decision, and the cost of choosing options after options is far higher than picking an option and having to back out of it later. So I'm guilty of overthinking decisions, and in the last few months, I've done where I've made a decision without going into an over-analysis, and I've realized that's actually been extremely freeing, liberating, and I've been able to do stuff that I would have otherwise been kind of stuck thinking about whether I should do or not. I write here that I was at a coffee shop with Gabe, and he mentioned having a floating desk at a co-working space in downtown. I remember not caring to look around this time and shop for better spaces or cheaper spaces. I just booked a tour, did a free day trying it out, and signed up. That was liberating. That day, I'm ashamed to say it took this long for me to realize it. I found out that the cost of choosing options after options is far higher than picking an option and having to back out of it later. So it's very cheap to have to say, you know what, it didn't work out. I tried it for a few months, back out of it, as opposed to never being able to pick an option in the first place. Anyway, so reading this chapter, it made me realize that I'm glad I'd kind of learned this lesson somewhat on my own before, and I didn't have to wait to read this chapter here, but I did learn this lesson pretty late in my life, right? It's a good chapter. I'm very curious to see what you think about it. Day 9, all right, finishing things. Now this one, I felt like it was incomplete, right? So Burkeman kind of goes into saying it's very nice to feel like it's a good feeling when you finish something, and he doesn't really help you get to that finish line other than say it feels good to finish it. Maybe I didn't read it to that extent. I just kind of reviewed it briefly before recording here, so maybe it is something that I'm missing, but to me it felt like it was incomplete. I wrote here that I'm not identifying with this chapter. It does not give any pointers to explore why we're sitting on an unfinished pile of tasks. I know I am sitting on them because of a variety of reasons. So I know why I don't finish some of my tasks that are on my plate. So I know what those reasons are, but I don't know. Sometimes I don't know how to get over that hump, right? He actually does talk about how to get over that hump in a later chapter. So maybe this chapter for day 9 should have been a couple of days later. I don't know. But anyway, so this was when I wrote this prompt. It was good for me to think about this because I wrote later, I know today is the day I'll finish that project that I'd blocked off time for. It is my main project for the day. Let's go. So if anything, the chapter worked in motivating me to actually get after one of the projects that I've been kind of sitting on, for a few days. So that was day 9. All right, day 10. This is called life task. So this one surprised me. So what I write is, I wish this was an easy thing for me to answer. I was surprised to see a chapter about such a deep topic, existential, in the middle of this book. So it sort of came out of nowhere, right? It's a kind of a deeper topic as opposed to, hey, finish your tasks. And then, what is your life task? So I try to think about what my life task could be, but I realize it is a deeper topic. So I throw some ideas out there, but what I do is I underline it to come back and journal later. So what does this life task include? What does it exclude? It's not something that I've given much thought for, but that is a good idea to find out where your blind spots are. So this was a great chapter for me to kind of think about. Lots of journaling prompts came out of this. Day 11, go to the shed. Okay, so this is how you start finishing those tasks that you've been avoiding, which that's the chapter that I wish was done before. In this one, I think I'd read this in Burkeman's newsletter. That's what I write. I needed this reminder. I've tried this on some particularly hairy projects. Just open the files and let it marinate. Let my eyes take it in, click on a few things. It won't bite. I want to remember to do this more. I was struggling to write these reflections this afternoon. I just felt it was a lot to think. Refreshed chapters I read several days ago and write, but I sat down, opened the first page, and that was all for the dam to crack open. All right, so what I'm saying here is that I had read the chapter a couple days before, and then I was sitting to write the reflection on it on the day I wrote this, and I was struggling to do that. So that's the going to the shed. You just show up, open up the page, and grab your pen and just like wait it out, and that's going to the shed. And once I did that, once I started writing a few words, it started coming back to me, and that's when I meant like the dam cracked open, right? So that go to the shed is a great chapter, works for me a lot. Day 12, doing things daily-ish. So I won't get into too much of the details here, but they talk about sign fills, marking an X every day, and that's kind of how you build a habit to do something every day. I have tried that method in the past and it has not worked, but what I've been doing for a couple of years now is using PACT goals, P-A-C-T, in the bullet journal method. So I know writer Carol did a video about that, and that's what I do at the end of the year. I set up my PACT goals on a variety of areas of my life, so like home or work or relationships and whatnot. And that reflection, the PACT, is kind of a structured reflection, goes into me forming a couple of habits that I can do daily. So small things I can do every day to get me towards those goals. So I found that very effective to use the PACT, P-A-C-T system. I'll link a video in the description to that system and to do these things daily-ish. Now, while I was reflecting on it, I realized that I've been, let's see, what did I say? Forward, and I love matching my daily habits. My habit of exercising daily has worked. I'm avoiding tracking my calories though, so that's one of the PACT goals that I have. So that's something I want to track every day. I need to journal about it. Do I not find it effective anymore? Is there too much of a hurdle to track it? So these are journaling prompts again, so a good way to kind of reflect on it. Anyway, last one. Nope, second to last. Day 13, 3 hours. All right, so this is where Burkeman talks about setting aside at least 3 hours of deep focus work time. And I ended up kind of reflecting on this. I had read about this in Cal Newport's book, Deep Work. And I think I tried it out one time, and then since then I haven't been able to really set aside those blocks of time in my calendar where I do deep work. Probably because I work with people on the West Coast, which ends up with a lot of afternoon and evening meetings, but also work with some people in Europe, which ends up with some very early morning meetings. So the times of the day tend to not be consistent for me. So what I ended up thinking about here is that I wonder if I need to train my mind to do deep work in the afternoon. So if there's a consistent time that I can say this is the time I deep work in, that's the time I wanted to grab. So that's just what I do today, is kind of find slots every day and then do the deep work there. But if I can have a consistent slot, I think that would be more effective for me. So again, this was a good reflection for me to have as I am reconsidering how and when I do that deep work. All right, day 14, so that's the last day of this week on this chapter. So what I'm doing, this is a chapter called Taste for Problems. All right, so this chapter is a good one where I think it's about acceptance. It's saying basically that your problems will never really go away if you're just going to wait around for a time when your problems are no longer there, that your life is problem-free. That time is not going to come. You're just going to be disappointed. So there was a message for me to hear because I've had a pretty challenging last, let's just say 12 months, give or take. And I was kind of hoping that, hey, I just need a few months to be boring for me to like get my wind under me and so on. But I know that's not going to happen as we sit now. And I was reflecting on it, that I'm waiting on various things to materialize. There's many things up in the air. So what came out of this chapter for me is that I was able to reflect on this. I said, and I wrote, I want to remember and journal about high-quality leisure activities where resonance, per Hermit Rosa, Burkeman talks about Hermit Rosa early in the book, where the resonance is high and enriching. So things are going to be difficult, problems are going to keep coming at various levels. I need to focus on high-quality leisure activities so I can recuperate from those problems, and then when they do come, that they don't feel as sharp and biting as they might. So there you go. That's week 2, 7 chapters of reflection that I did. So I'm going to continue reading these chapters a day at a time, writing my reflections, and then I'll come back next Sunday and maybe put up my thoughts on the third week of Burkeman's Reflections. If you've been reading this book, if you're following along with this, I'd love to hear your thoughts on this. So let me know in the comments what you think of these chapters, especially about the life task. Tell me about the life task that resonated with you. What is your life task? I'm still kind of journaling about mine. I'm still trying to figure out what mine is. So I'd love to hear your thoughts. Until then, hope you have a distraction-free day or distraction-free week, and I'll see you next week. Thank you.